Hello, everybody. It has been a while since our last dev stream, so today we jump in, and I want to do a little bit of early high-level design on our fishing minigame. We're not even probably going to be working an engine at all today, it's just going to be concepting what our fishing should look like and feel like. That's it. That is it. I'm going to post on Twitter here that we are live. Weird. Oh. No. Is my computer dying? My new computer! It just shut down Photoshop. What the hell's going on? Are we okay? Uh-oh. No, temps are okay. Kinda weird. Okay. Backup. Never fails. All I just need is I just need a canvas somewhere, right? Beautiful. Hey Lazarla, how's the stream going? It's going good. It is going good. Going well. Post this. Live. Doing some high level design for our fishing mini game in Cauldron. Beautiful. 2 minutes exactly. So I first want to just pull up some other games with fishing mini games in them and start there. You know, I think we're aiming more for something that's casual but still offers a layer of strategy for the player, or at least rewards some level of skill. I don't think we need to go overboard with this. In fact, I think something like Stardew Valley is probably, you know, why reinvent the wheel? But we'll pull up everything. Let's see, Stardew Valley fishing. This will work. Just any screenshot. And you know what? I don't even need the whole thing. Honestly, Miro would be better than paying for this. I don't know if I have enough slots on Miro, though. Who needs fish for alchemy? Yes. Yes, indeed. How you doing, military? Let me see if I can log in. I'm gonna ask for my fucking password. Damn it. I don't have my password. Oh, it didn't ask for this one. Okay. Create new. Beautiful. That'll work. Gotta get up 3 days this week, so I'm adjusting. Early 3-day? Oh, Jesus. Let's start with this. Stardew Valley. I'm gonna put text underneath this. I don't use Miro enough. can put a description, but where does that show up? Nobody knows. Stardew Valley. We'll do bullet points here for things that we have identified about it. I think it's simple, easy to learn. Why are you the way that you are? Go. Offers a layer of skill-based rewards, caskets, offers has progression in the form of movement speed and size of green box. That's a good thing. People who specifically think this system of fishing is high difficulty, depends on how fast it is too, though. Yeah, I think that there are people who this is tough for them, but the game does offer that progression that I think makes certain aspects of it a bit easier, that maybe those individuals don't double down into. However, some of that does require that you have higher fishing level, which of course requires you to actually engage in the fishing first. I think it's fair. I think that it is a good middle ground. I'm gonna crochet a friend a blanket for Christmas, but I had to ask him for specifics. Probably just me. He seems super uninterested every time I bring it up. Or just me, but I want to spend at least 100 hours. That's kind of weird. Who would deny a crocheted blanket? How do I put this into a panel? Not a group. I just need a box. These are really aggressive colors. Just me. Let's do this instead. Stardew Valley. Ballot. Beautiful. Easy to learn. Offers a layer of skill-based rewards, caskets, which I do like. Has progression in the form of movement speed and size of green box. Via bobbers, tackle. I think those are tip bobbers, tackle, and rods, right? One event, no worries. That's a 9th that just very aloof. That's still weird. What are some other games with fishing minigames? Games with fishing minigames. Final Fantasy 15. I don't think I've ever seen Final Fantasy 15's fishing. Minecraft would be a good one to throw in. Red Dead Redemption 2 would be good too, simply to have all variants of these. Red Dead Redemption 2 fishing. It's such an immersive game. There's not really a good screenshot for this, but this will work. Okay, my feelings about Red Dead 2's fishing minigame are not great. However, I do think it is immersive, and Red Dead 2 at its core is an immersive sim. I know there's disagreement on that, but... However, I think that it is a bit tough to learn, tough to master. This is not the level of fishing game minigame that I want in our game, as even though it is immersive, I think that our game just targets a different audience than Red Dead 2 does. However, I do think that it is quite relaxing and engaging. It doesn't really offer any layer of progression necessarily, or skill-based rewards. You know, you can catch better fish, you can catch higher quality fish, but there isn't really an extra layer of, like, you know, junk items, different things that you can collect, you know, whatever, treasures that you get from fishing. In Red Dead 2, you fish for fish. Simple as that. Oh. What else do we got? Minecraft. Minecraft fishing. I actually do like their new fishing minigame. I really appreciate how you can see the fish. This is similar to Red Dead 2. Red Dead 2, you can also see the fish moving around. That's going to be something that I would like to do, but not for prototype. Waste of time. I don't really have a good image for fishing minigame. If any of you haven't played the new fishing minigame, it's not that new, to be honest. You know, it's where the bubbles... Oh no, you can't see the fish in Minecraft fishing, can you? No, it's just the bubbles approach the bobber and pull it down. And then it's immediate. Yeah, okay. Yeah, this image will work fine. There is no real skill-based rewards. It's very easy to learn. It's relaxing. I can appreciate the visual cues. Can fish up more than just fish. Single mission where RDR2 makes you go fishing with your boss. Honestly, teach me anything I remember. Just collect as many heads as quickly as possible. There was two. There was one where you fish with Dutch. There's also one where you teach fishing to Jack. And then there's a side quest chain with, I don't remember his name, where you fish with him. So there are at least like 5 or 6 quests that you have to fish. 2 of them are mandated by the main story. I think I'll rank the backgrounds in terms of how likely I would be to include them in our game. The one thing that I like about Red Dead 2's is that it's immersive. I like that you can see the fish. It works for that. However, I did not really understand how to properly fish in that game. Which, if my only complaint about your game is that the fishing minigame was hard to learn, I think you've done a good job. What are some other ones? Final Fantasy 14. Are there any Final Fantasy fans that can tell me about fishing minigames? Jesus Christ. Who wrote so much about fishing minigames? Blog's insane. AFK Journey. AFK Journey had a fishing minigame? Well, I know one that we can include. Oh god, it was in Torchlight. And before that, it was actually in Fate. Big shout out if you guys know those games. Probably heard of Torchlight. I doubt you've heard of Fate. I've seen a big update sort of recently. Okay, yeah, I hadn't played that. I hadn't played AFK Journey since it first released. Hello, Studi. Finally back to work. What's up? Yeah, we're doing a fishing minigame. I'm doing some high-level design and just trying to compare different games. Also, you know what? Easy to learn. Fish directly tied into pet system. Could fish up fish up treasures and gear. I like that. But this was very much a secondary aspect of the game. What other games did we have? Yeah, I know systems like this. Cult of the Lamb had one. I was playing that recently. Cult of the Lamb fishing. Mechanically, it's the same as Stardew. I think that a lot of designers will make the mistake of trying to reinvent the wheel. When, in reality, even some of the greatest games we play today accept the wheel. The wheel works. It turns round and round. And nobody's going to complain because you know what? We've all played Stardew. We know how it works. It's nice not to have to learn a new fishing minigame. Should have had a limit on fishings. It had a limit on dungeon fishing, but it didn't have a limit on town fishing. But you're right, that the fishing holes you would find out in the wild did have a limit. And I think all they did though was offer... I think all they did was offer a higher chance at rarer fish out in the wild. Whereas town was kind of like static. Fish directly tied to upgrading feeding colt. Can see fish. I think that's a big one. I think Stardew's system was also just based on something else before. Either way, why reinvent the wheel, right? Same kind of thing, you can see the fish. I don't know Final Fantasy XIV's fishing. Let me look it up. Final Fantasy XIV fishing. Oh god, okay. What? Understood nothing, caught nothing. Oh my god, just how do I fish? Okay, you cast it, and what happens? Where are the fish? Nothing as usual. Fishing is not about catching fish, it's about hanging with your bros and drinking beer. Okay, you just click when the timing is right. That's all it is. Is that really enough to include? It's like the fishing in your chat, right? Like the cat's levels in Sonic Adventure. Obtaining baits. Install pure agony in the players with that one. Atelier game fishing. I think going like an action route like this is antagonistic to Cauldron Chronicles' intentions. But I would like to have a system that rewards skill in some way and offers the ability for players to fish out more than simple fish. Godot has fishing. Of course it does. The goddamn tail, I love it. Genshin fishing. Why do I not remember Genshin fishing? You aim at the fish and wait. I thought you couldn't aim too close to the fish because it scared them away. Or am I thinking of a different game? Yeah, you scare it away. I do like that to some extent. Then you had to click to keep it in the yellow area. It's not a bad system. I think that the way it's balanced in Genshin can sometimes be a little bit hardcore, but it's not a bad system. Easy to learn, sure, absolutely. I like that you can see the fish. That's again another point that I keep coming back to that I think makes it more immersive. Offers room for progression. Interfishing is categorically not fun unless you enjoy the emotional struggle. It makes you feel arbitrarily powerless when you perfectly see the fish and still wait for their system to stop being janky. I mean, that would have to do more with not the minigame itself necessarily, but how the fish detecting your bobber works. Like, it's all part of the minigame, but that's something that we can look at and say, well, we don't have to redesign the system to fix that. We just need to make the fish not be so annoying to bite your tackle, right? At least that's the way that I see it. I know Warframe had fishing too. Did they change this at all since I last played? Which was many years ago. I remember fishing here for so long. Hours and hours of fishing. Line conflict is between the ease and delayed reward. I think that is overcomplicating the framing of it. Like, when you think of game design, try to think of it in the simplest way possible. Finding a complicated way to explain something simple is not good game design. Yeah, I know about the spears. This worked really well because it was a third-person shooter, where your skill with it was directly based on how quickly and well you could aim. That fits really well. That fits quite well with the game, actually. I forgot about that. It's a good version of Genshin's fishing. Different markets. Different markets entirely. And that is very important here. Is that you have to compare the type of game and the people playing the game. That's why I think that Genshin's fishing works for Genshin, but Warframe's fishing works for Warframe. The amount of reward doesn't matter as much as the importance of reward, right? If getting a few fish per hour is considered good for the progression of the game that you're playing, then the delay between the minigame and the reward is not that much of an issue. Grind, some people would call this. But it's just more of how often you're rewarding the player for the loop. The drawback with having it be so quick is that it doesn't feel like there's any deeper layer of strategy here. In fact, this is higher skill than this is. But it works. They're fishing in a game is shooting a shock arrow at fish-filled water in Breath of the Wild. Well, see, what I liked in Red Dead 2 is that you could just throw dynamite. You get angry that you can't catch fish, then you throw dynamite in there and you just pick up the fish floating in the water. What a game. Nah, they're both fun though. I'm not really going to include negatives in here too much unless it's relevant. Oops, Genshin. That's not Genshin. That is Warframe. It's funny that a lot of these try to mimic Stardew Valley. Or let's just say they're similar to it. I'm not going to claim to know who was first to the apple here. But that none offer the same level of skill-based rewards as Stardew Valley. None of them do. Do you have different type of potion bottles? No, they would all be considered splash. Or, well, actually, they're considered both. You can drink them or throw them. I think for us, what we 100% will need is being able to see the fish. Now, I don't know if I want to do this directly in... You have magic? No, but yes. No, but yes. Pumpkin Headplay, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream. Happy Monday. Well, I mean, I don't know who has a happy Monday, really, but I hope you're having a happy Monday. We want to... Alchemy is the center focus of our game, and that will be how you engage with pretty much every aspect of our game. However, there may be an NPC that you can learn a spell or two from. But this is a desire, not a guarantee. Are you after the resource or the minigame experience? Both. But primarily the resource that you need, that you would want to fish to use in your alchemy, right? So you catch a fish, you get like, let's just say the eyeballs, the scales, the meat, whatever, right? Different parts that have different attributes to them. Or maybe you have to then, clean the fish up, right? You get the raw fish and then you can go cut it up or do something with it. And then maybe we can factor that into progression in some way. But at the very least, it is primarily going to be used to get alchemical resources or to sell to merchants. I think that when it comes down to it, here are my feelings. Cult of the Lamb is essentially the same as Stardew Valley in this case, but actually a little bit less. Because I think that the way the caskets pull you away from trying to catch the fish in order to get an extra reward on top of it is very nice. It's a little bit of added optional stress that I think is kind of fun. Torchlight is too simple. But it's not a game about fishing, right? Torchlight is an ARPG. It's like fishing is just an added layer on top of that. I think that Red Dead 2 is definitely, immersive, which is good. You can see the fish good. It's a little bit too hardcore. I think something like Genshin is actually closer to what we would want to do, where you can see the fish, you have the bar, and we can do progression like Stardew and offer this extra layer of rewards on top of that. In my opinion. So traps with resources. Traps would be cool. I do like traps. But we could do both. I mean, I think both. I like your trap idea a lot, especially using ingredients that you find. Yeah, I like the idea of trapping and baiting. I like that a lot. And maybe different fish or different types have different desires and you use potions or something. Maybe with different flavors. Like the effects wouldn't matter, but flavor. Actually, which would be cool because I don't think we have enough in the game that utilizes flavor. So you have to make potions not with effects that matter, but with the flavors that matter. Or use ingredients with specific flavors. I should be writing this down. Fishing, 2 parts, trapping, and rod and reel. Trap item. Yeah, I like the trapping. I think that's really great, Lazarla. Traps you can find, purchase, make. It doesn't really matter how we get them. That was a good one. I like that one. Traps you can find, purchase, make, then bait with ingredients and or potions with specific flavors to AFK fish, essentially, right? So maybe you could use the same thing where you use different ingredient baits in rod and reel to instantly catch them, and it's faster. And maybe gives you options to, well, That's all going to come down to balancing, right? But let's just say for the sake of argument, rod and reel's faster and more direct, whereas trapping is more AFK. Higher chance maybe at junk items, which could be useful for maybe, I don't know, selling or something. Or just different types of fish entirely, like you catch crustaceans, right? You catch like crabs and shrimp and whatever the hell. Maybe slower, catch different types. Did I spell that right? Rod and reel is faster, more direct, engaging, of course, because you're actually doing it. Maybe cheaper too in the long run, since you don't have to pay for traps. The funny thing is, in our game, catching something like seaweed is actually pretty good because that's an ingredient that you can use. Playing those Japanese alchemy games? Which ones? Like the Atelier series? I like the sound of this. It's at least one parallel series too. It's like Atelier. Like I don't dislike these games. I think they're a bit different because I have obviously played these, especially as research for Cauldron Chronicles. What I'm not a big fan of is the UI-based alchemy. I think that it works. And these games don't go deep enough with the characters. These are definitely more JRPGs than they are like CRPGs. And I think my game is pulling more from CRPGs than JRPGs. I think the way that I'm going to pitch this game next year is a little bit different. I'm going to pitch it as a immersive sim CRPG. And just watch the publisher scratch their heads trying to figure out what I mean. But I think that, honestly, it is kind of true. It's like a mix of Stardew Valley plus CRPG. It's weird. I want to cook some meth, let me do that. You can ferment poop if you want in our game and make potions out of fermented poop. It's an option. How does this sound to you guys? You have two types of fishing. You have like AFK trapping, where you don't make the traps. You have to either just find some out in the wilderness, or you have to purchase some, and then you bait them with ingredients. Let's say not potions, but ingredients with specific flavors, based on the type of fish that you want to catch. So sometimes you might want to use meat. Sometimes you might want to use players hate choice. You might want to use something that's a bit earthy, like, I don't know, like a mushroom or something, or like a vegetable or a fruit. But it's slower, but it's like AFK. You can just check in on it until it's full, until it's at high capacity. The nice thing is that I do think that that offers some types of progression with either better with better types of traps, baits. If we do perk points, we can do perks. I don't know. I'm not sold on perks. I don't like the idea that, oh, our game is RPG, therefore perks and levels and XP. Not a huge fan of that, but we'll see. Some players do hate choice. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I think that we can do perks without going the full-blown, rabbit hole of XP and all this shit. Like, we can do perks either with story progression or with Stardew Valley with its kind of like RuneScape type of leveling up based on you doing that activity, or like what Stardew did with the community center. So I think that there are cool ways to do perks and levels without going full blown into just because we want perks, we must have levels, and because we have levels, we must have XP. It's like Pee-wee, we have 100,000 gazillion meaningless shit to a point. Yeah, I'd rather it just be. I think that Stardew, honestly, it's just, there's a reason why it's so goddamn good. It's because it just finds that beautiful middle ground between RPG and casual, or like deep RPG and casual. Here we have progression, but you don't have to go crazy with like spreadsheets. You like traps only. Take you out of context on that one. I feel like Rod and Reel is too different a type of fishing. I would rather go all in on one mechanic rather than splitting it down the middle. The problem is that trapping is a chore and not an engaging activity. And I don't think that one is worse or better than the other. But an engaging, relaxing activity is probably more what I would want to lean into. But having an AFK way to earn some ingredients over time fits well with the kind of game we're trying to make. Those would be my thoughts. Traps are the easiest to do versus the rod fishing. I agree with that too. But, I mean, that's why we prototype it, right? We can see what works and what feels good. Different fish based on different seasons, locations, and weather. Times of day, weather. We have seasons, time of day, we have weather, we have all this. That's easy enough to do. That adds some dynamic parts to it. And a very active activity. Yeah, maybe I'm thinking too much like Slime Rancher and Forager. Those games are kind of built around having stuff to wait for. I think it's a good mental test though to look at a game like Slime Rancher and say, how is our game different than that? The words I use here do not reflect my feelings of Slime Rancher or Forager. Just keep that in mind with what I'm about to say. Slime Rancher is a constant management and chore game. rather than having a variety of activities like Stardew Valley, Slime Rancher is very specifically about the two things you see in its game, in its name, slimes and ranching. That's it. So I think that while the trapping works there because they want you to focus on the core aspects of what Slime Rancher is at its core, it has less to do with Stardew Valley than it might appear on the outside. And I think that when I'm looking at Cauldron Chronicles in my head, I see a larger variety of activities than what Slime Rancher or Forager directly offer. And I see it more as like a life sim variety of activities as opposed to a management game. If that makes sense. I don't think that's an insult. I think that some of my words could be seen as a little harsh, but I fucking love Slime Rancher. I love them. I absolutely love them. Slime Rancher does not have a huge variety of activities, right? But I'll tell you what, feeding my cat slimes is pretty damn cute. Mix of Stardew and Genshin, let's say, for the sake of ease. Simple to learn, can see fish, offer pathways for progression, offer non-fish rewards such as treasure, junk, skill-based. I think that makes sense. I think that makes sense and is easy to understand from the outset. Which, when people ask, what is your fishing system like? Gotta be that. Gotta be something that's simple. Haven't considered Skyrim fishing where you walk up to the fish and you hit it with your axe. If you can see the fish in our game, I think that at some point you should be able to throw potions and murderize the fish. I'm gonna be honest. But that might come at a later bit. At a later time. That's the reason why they added those other islands to get some variety of gameplay. Yeah, I think you're right too on that. Yeah, that'll work. That'll work. What do we want to do then for first playable MVP? Minimum viable product in this case. I do hate that word, but that is the official term for it. Being able to see fish is going to be a lot of work and time. For something that I don't think is directly necessary. Or okay, think of this in 3D space, although I'm going to draw it in 2D space. Body of water. You. standing on the edge, which I know is really edgy to say. You have a fishing spot. This is where you are allowed to fish. And you know what? At least for the MVP, we need to keep it this simple because I promise you it just simplifies a million things. We randomly spawn within this designated spot, which we can easily do. We just get a bounding box. We spawn within this bounding box. Easy enough to do. Fish that look like this, and they would literally just be a static mesh, not moving. It doesn't matter. Too much work. When you fish, it throws out your bobber into the center of this, right? We can get the center of the bounding box easy enough. Throw it. And we just pick a random fish that's currently spawned in there and move it towards your bobber. We can do the timing then based on the distance of the fish to your bobber, and then we can engage the UI-based minigame, which would be similar to Stardew or Genshin, right? Reminds me of the mechanic of Toontown fishing. Sorry, Caps. No worries. Toontown, what a throwback. What was Toontown fishing like? Is Toontown still around? Okay, choose your power and aim. That's pretty cool. You have to like aim and get it in the right spot. Kind of cool. I'm gonna do 210 fishing. None of it stuck with me. I don't know if a fishing game has to stick with you. I think a fishing minigame just needs to get you in the zone. You need to be able to zone out to it. Not be frustrated. Just be in there in that moment. Usually I had no idea what was happening. Well, it's an older game, right? But I think what we can do for first playable is keep it pretty simple and do fishing zones, static meshes that move towards a static location of your bobber, which will just get immediately thrown out the moment you press E to interact with the fishing spot, right? Again, this is MVP, this is a prototype. So what we need is the quickest way to test if it's fun and to make iterations. So making the fish move around, making them look good, that's a waste of time. It's a huge, huge waste of time. This will be really quick to get us that minimum experience, get us into the UI minigame, where we can polish up the UI minigame, and that will handle the rod and reel fishing. I think for trapping and baiting, we can just do those in a separate spot. I believe a fishing minigame, hell yeah. Where this is like a trap spot, we can show a little icon when you get close to it. That's easy to do. We do that with the like the hut waypoint. Make a fish that only appears like 1 in a million times and is almost impossible to catch. We can do stuff like that. Because my computer's shutting down? You guys hear that with the audio? That was weird. You hate fishing that have so many waiting because of the animation? Yeah, me too. Me too. I think that's a good goal, is to make it relatively quick, but not so quick that we can't put any sort of skill-based, mini game inside of it, right? Which is again why I come back to like Stardew Valley, and I'm like, you know what, this is that middle ground. Why reinvent the wheel? Loud. Jesus. So I think what we could do, let's go over and I'll kind of show you where I'm thinking of where we can put some of this. A bunch of streamers streaming your game 24/7. You're actually right about that. I hate that you're right, but you're right. I think we can do just like simple fishing spots, like here, maybe over on the pier. That would be a good one. Some like visual effects to cue that this is a fishing spot, right? Nothing too wild. Caging spots, like trapping could be done over in shallower areas. Or just the player swims down and just plops it down at the bottom. Be kind of fun too. There could be some good challenges there. I don't want the player to be able to place it anywhere, because that's just going to get really, really messy with the code. At the very least for our first playable here. Yeah. Wave shader system works pretty well, even though the waves are a little extreme for such a small body of water. Yeah, I can tune it down. I wanted to have some of it. It works better if you have like the harsher weather. But of course, well, the original intention was I was going to modify it in real time, the amount of waves based on the weather, so I could tie it to the amount of wind. But I wasn't able to update it in real time, so bit of a shame. So I just went with something that kind of felt relaxing, but not completely impossible. It is what it is. Okay, fishing, designated fishing spots. static bounding box for fish spawns. We'll need some sort of menu where you choose your bait. If we even want to go that deep. Well, you know what, let's make that for a second iteration. For first iteration, you just won't bait at all. It will just be static fishing. The reason being that if I include you having to select bait and fish preferring certain bait, I then have to include a menu that somehow tells you which fish prefer which bait. Now, what I could do is do this through a book. We do have that system. And if you haven't seen that, I can show it to you. This would work. Loud. Yeah, we could do it with this system, with the books. So I could have like a fishing book that tells you some of this stuff. How are you doing, Turning Cog? How are you today? Spoon tells about fishing with a... I can't add more. I can't add more lore. It's so much lore. Don't make me. Yeah, we could do that. Let's do the second iteration. Bait selection menu. Book with fish and preferred bait. Hey, Anomalies. Pumpkinhead, thank you so much for the subscription with Prime. I really appreciate that.
Pumpkinhead Play just subscribed.
Thank you so much. It's really nice of you. Okay is better than bad, so stay positive. It's true. We get a fishing NPC. I've been hunting and fishing these parts for years. Caught a junk VHS tape. That's a throwback. Who here is old enough to remember VHSs? And how many of you did not rewind your Disney movies? Who didn't do it? Why, when I load up Bambi, does it start playing the credits? Answer that for me, chat. Now I have to sit here, press the rewind button, and wait 5 minutes just so I can watch Coming Soon on home video. Like my Debbie would rent videos from gas station. So yeah, we could do a book. We could do a book, but I'm going to save that for second iteration because I think that'll be a whole separate aspect to it. For the very first start, I think it will be challenging enough to implement this system. Challenging, but still quite doable. Designated fishing spots, static bounding box for fish spawns. Over time, based on UD S Ultra Dynamic Sky hours, spawn fish up to certain amount. Interaction with fishing spot is immediate. simple white boxed rod and bobber. Can the fishing tutorial be a VHS tape? I'm not sure. You can just use sequencer. Deserve it. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Simple thing that I can do to help. It's working and having your stream open, following it. That's really nice of you. I appreciate that. I think that a lot of people are just, you know, working on their own games or something, or doing whatever, working in their job, and throw me up on a second or third monitor. Preferably minimized. This is a stream that deserves to be minimized. And you know what? Muted in some cases. But just knowing I'm there, knowing I'm off screen, not looking at me, but just knowing I'm there, whispering in your ear. Sweet nothings. Making a flowchart while listening to you. What are you making a flowchart on? Narcissist. I'm stating that you can have my stream on your third monitor minimized and muted, and that's narcissistic? No, narcissistic would be if I said that you should have me on your primary monitor, max volume, without headphones so that other people can hear me too. Oh, new GDD, nice. Stop whispering creepy stuff. Well, I mean, for the past week we were playing Dragon Age Veilguard, so honestly, if you had me muted, I would understand. Second vertical screen. You're a programmer. There's only one type of person that has vertical screens, and that's a programmer. Go on, prove me wrong. Are you missing the game yet? Oh yeah, I'm totally missing Veilguard. Simple white boxed rod and bobber. Fish move slowly. We can... Let's just say lerp for the moment. Learning to be one. What are you studying for? Studying. What language are you looking at learning here? Streamers have it too for chats. Yeah, that's a good point. My chat, thankfully, does not move fast enough that I need a vertical screen, though. Towards bobber. After X number of seconds, rand. Pull bobber down. That's when player can click. Clicks to start UI minigame. UI minigame is Stardew Genshin like. Because why reinvent the wheel? Put a quote. Can't stay away from Nev's clothes, but dude, that pissed me off so much. HTML, JavaScript, and Python. These are the ones for the moment. Nice. Hey Zeke. Been a while. How you doing, man? Can we do a Wheel of Fortune style game show within the game? Should I just have an NPC that shows up like once every in-game month with a wheel and you spin it and get random rewards? Is that what you want? Having a break from my tech? I know how that feels. That was us for the last week playing Dragon Age Veilguard. Game show a poppy, like the other Cauldron game. Which one do you mean, Belicha? Like a black market traveler NPC, exactly, yeah. It'll be like, oh, I think this will actually get me in trouble if I show it with the sound off. But have you guys seen Wheel of Fish? From VHF? With Weird Al? UHF. Where they spin the wheel of fish. Watch that on your own, because I will get a copyright claim on this if I play it. But it's a it's a really good movie and a really good scene from it. Grunty's Furnace Fun? Red Snapper? See, Belicha knows. Oh, very tasty fish. Or you can choose what's in the box. Success equals get fish. Failure equals not get fish. Beautiful. You're so stupid. Yeah, just look up the Wheel of Fish, and I promise it's worth it. It's a fun little clip. I miss UE5 stuff monthly. Oh wait, there would be new stuff this month, wouldn't there? I don't think I've gotten that. Where's the free content for the month? Until the 19th? This is it? It's only 3 things? That's only 3 things though, that's so sad. Hyper outliner and symbol system. What does that mean? Oh, an outliner. Actually, I need this. Actually, I needed this. This is a good thing. I like this. Forest animals. God, their fur looks so bad. Using pre-bought assets? Yes. We need to use pre-bought assets. Because it's a prototype. This is not the game. This is a prototype for the game. And if you are not using pre-bought assets for your prototype, then you're not prototyping. Or you're not using white box. Make your own? That costs money. That's why we're asking for $4 million in funding. Yeah, exactly. You need to use stress before you have any money to actually make your own. True. Put a deer in the bottom of the pond swimming around and make it catchable with the fishing rod. You guys have the craziest ideas. But I like it. UI fishing minigame with treasure. Rod and reel. The difference is between me using store-bought assets and some other games you would see on like Kickstarter is that I actually tell you that they're store-bought. Need money to make your own what? For a game of this fidelity, I would either need to be a professional 3D artist or spend money to get 3D artists on board to make our own assets. And even then, you wouldn't want to waste time doing that in a first playable, in like a prototype, because it's a waste of time. Unless your game requires, you know, it's like a game that requires the art to determine whether or not the core loop is fun, it's a waste of time to spend money making art. So using store-bought assets is a good way to get the feeling of what you want from your final product without having to spend copious amounts of time or money on it. Yeah, you're trying to see if it's fun before you make it, exactly, yeah. Can we catch romance and release our mermaid? You guys are such gooners. And I can't deny you. Yeah, like this is not representative. So none of the art you see here is going to be in the final game. None of it. most likely. It's just when we show publishers, we're like, this is kind of the style that we'd like in our game. And when you give us the money, you're paying for us to hire or outsource 3D art that will mimic this style, but in our own set direction. They're great fishing ideas. You should appreciate us more. Should I? Trapping. Designated fishing spots. When you learn there's a difference between clear asset flips and people who need funding to actually make. Well, the thing is, Dramonks, I don't think that players generally know that. And, you know, that's one of the reasons that we're streaming is that I think most developers are afraid of showing their games at this early stage, especially if they're white boxed. And because of that, players don't have a good idea of what a game looks like in early stages of development. And even game developers I've worked with don't understand what goes into proper early game development. I've seen them spend way too much time and money focusing on making the game look good before actually realizing that we don't have a core loop here. Like, we haven't actually prototyped the game. You spent most of the money on the 3D team to make the game look good, thinking that that's going to equal a fun game, when that's not how it's supposed to be at all. It should be the other way around. That usually when you start a new game, you don't have any 3D person working on it or any artist working on it, because all of that is a waste of time. You need a producer, sometimes a designer, and a programmer or two, and that's what you need to prototype a game. That's it. GTA 6 leak? Yes, actually GTA 6 leak is a perfect example. They already had the textures. Why make new textures and assets when they could just reuse GTA 5's assets to prototype their new gameplay? I was looking at it and I was like, actually, this is really great for a prototype. And other people were like, ew, this is just using assets from GTA 5. But that's exactly the problem. What happens if the publisher gives you money and your game doesn't sell at all? We all lose money. Forced to find a new job, I guess. I'll be forced to use asset art because who the fuck has money to hire artists at this point? Yep. But that's why we're showing it off. Are they sure you expect money from you? Do they sue you? No, they wouldn't sue you. It's an investment from them, and if the investment fails, here's the thing. Okay, so most publisher contracts will have a recuperation clause, and it's either every publisher contract is going to be different, but it's usually going to include they need to make money back from how much they spent first. So if they spend $4 million on your game, they need to make that $4 million back before you see any of that money. Some will say that it's 50-50 until recuperation. Some will say that they only want to recuperate marketing costs. Some will say they need to recuperate marketing costs before, then it's 50-50 after for sales costs. It just depends on the contract. All of them, it could look different. We don't know how games are made. You don't make the art assets first, or like we've seen in most Kickstarters, literally just asset showcase, and people are like, "Oh my god, this looks so good," but no actual gameplay. Yeah, absolutely, Jarbox. Pumpkinhead play. What did you just type? Designated fishing spots. Designated trapping spots in this case. Do we want traps to deteriorate? Traps have percentage chance. Oh, you know what? I think trapping should be second iteration. Trapping should come after. Let's just put it that way, because that's going to require the bait selection menu. We'll start first with rod and reel. Oh, it happens a lot. Was supposed to be a joke for stuff. No problem. I think it's fake until you make it or something like that. There is some of that. The problem is that is faking it till you make it is playing on people's ignorance of game development. And I think that while some people can do it successfully and make a good game, others will use that ignorance to their advantage to make money and release a shitty product that makes players less trusting and more, what's the word? Cynical. Which I think players should be less trusting of developers overall. Is it possible to have a successful game and not have publishers and Kickstarters and all that? Yeah, absolutely, 100%. 100%. But you'll need virality, right? You can have a really good game and nobody will know it exists, and therefore you make no money. Right? Your game could be the next Minecraft, but if nobody knows that it exists, you won't make shit. So you need to be able to market your game, and a lot of indie developers aren't good at that. So they make a great game, and then they don't know how to market it, and they're indie. They want to stay indie, but it's like, well, yeah, but you still need help in this aspect, right? Or it's like, well, we don't know how to port our game to other consoles. Okay, well, you need help porting. Well, we don't want a publisher. Well, a publisher, you can get a deal for porting, localization, and marketing. You don't need them to fund your game's development. So it's like, you know, it's making a game successfully one person is nearly impossible. Most do not do it and cannot do it. Make a great trailer and donate to some big streamers media stream. That requires money. And in any case, you need a good game first. That's what you absolutely need. At the start of every success, most commercial successes is a good game. Which is why I recommend, if you're getting into indie development, don't focus on bullshit trailers, don't focus on marketing, don't focus on any of this stuff until it's actually relevant. Make a good game first, and then build out the marketing from there. If you try to do it all at once, you're wasting time doing this when you should be doing this. Until someone does. Okay, I think this is a good first playable MVP. And I don't think this is going to be too difficult. Input context, static bounding box, spawn a couple of static mesh white boxed fishes in there. You interact and we just do some shit between the player and the box. A random fish, you know, lerps towards the bobber. And after X number of seconds on the bobber, pulls the bobber down, player clicks during that time period, and if successful, we start the UI minigame, and then we make the UI minigame. And this will be the most challenging aspect of this, I think. Although, if I want to think about it, what I see here is how do we do that? With blueprints, I actually see the fish as one progress bar. If you think in terms of Unreal, the fish is one progress bar. And then based on the width of this, would this be a second progress bar? Paleo fishing. And just to note, I won't be doing any animations for prototyping. Waste of time. Could I move it towards? We could move it towards. It's really weird though. What does it even mean? Oh, the player controls the green. The parentheses, and you have to keep the bobber within the parentheses. Yeah, it's actually not too challenging. We'll keep it up. We'll keep it up. I like that though. Slider values from 0 to 1. You have 0, 1, 0, 2, etc. The progress where you land means the percentage chance you have to get. That's a bit too complicated for first iteration. You want to spice this up a deer? God damn you. The fish being a slider is really easy, and then if we had a second slider, we could compare values. The only thing that I'm questioning is how we display the bar. Or do we go something more like Genshin, which would actually be a little bit easier from a coding perspective, where we have oh wait, hold on. I need to pull up a widget here. I need to test something. You have a slider widget where you just replace the fill. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking is the fill area, but the fill area I think is all or nothing, right? Doing Toontown fishing? No. We're doing a mix of like Genshin and Stardew. Let me see here. Yes. Okay, so we ignore the fill. We ignore the fill value. But we change the little Bobby B here to be the fish. Is there a big market for fishing games? For dedicated fishing games? No, I would say it's a niche. Thankfully, we are not making a dedicated fishing game though. Jesus Christ. Yeah, so we change the Bobby B here to a fish. And this is what moves up and down. That's really easy to do. The second one, though, is going to be a little bit more of a challenge. No, it shouldn't. No, it shouldn't. We just overlay two sliders. Fishing minigame is player bait. Honestly, yes. If your game is casual friendly and has a fishing minigame, I promise you it will not be a waste of time. A surprising number of people will play your game simply for it. People have petable dogs, yep. Player house decoration, yep, and player customization. argue what you want about whether or not it's valid or good, but it works. Does that work if I put bar thickness? Well, actually, the normal bar image I can just disable. No bar image. Image, I need just a fish icon. I just need a fish icon. Good enough. I'm not going to save any of my work today. I just want to feel it and whether or not it's possible. Where's fish icon? Sir? Too big. I kind of need all this rotated. I can't. Oh, hold on. I can just make them vertical. Gonna start work. Yeah, take care, Belicha. What's her game's called? I'll look it up in Steam. Probably the most notable is I've worked on Darkest Dungeon. There's my fish. Needs to be rotated though. Can I rotate it in here? You're Red Hook? No, I was working with Red Hook Studios. For them. With them. Whichever one you want to use. Need a fishing making game? There's third-person animations to use. Are there enough games that let you fish from a boat aside from RDR2? Not that I know of. Not that I know of. A percentage every time a game is sold? No, I just got a flat fee for working. There was no revenue share on that. I'll just rotate this in. There's something weird with the sound whenever I open this up. Weird. Worked in Forever Skies? Yeah, only a little bit. Tiny bit. I only worked there for 3 months. How much you make in total? I just don't know what designers are paid. Shit. Absolute shit. I made, here in Poland, I made, oh god, what would be the equivalent? Don't judge me. Yeah, about 18,000 US dollars a year as a lead designer. I'm not Polish. I live in Poland. Full time? Yeah, it was full time. I was paid $15 an hour for Darkest Dungeon, and I was paid the same amount in Poland for Forever Skies. Although I think they wanted to pay me more, but they were doing their best before release. So that was not an issue with them. That was just we had more money, we'd pay people. 18K a year, yeah, yep. As a lead game designer. Why does it do that? Like hardware acceleration or something in Opera? $18K in Poland is fine? No, it's not. Not really. How much you pay rent? It was about half of my salary for rent in Poland. And that was just for rent. Yeah, yep. You work for them again after that? For the company that I was working at in Poland, the main one, no. But I left for them partly due to how much they were paying me, and partly due to other things. Mostly due to other things, actually. I don't mind not being paid much if the company is, you know, just trying to get its feet going, but I need to be treated well, and they weren't treating me well. This is not Forever Skies, by the way. This is not Far From Home. They were very, very nice to me. Nothing but. Exceptional people. That is not the direction that I wanted to fish, but I'm going to stick with it just for today. Do you have any workplace struggles as dev? Yeah, a lot. Yeah. Work-life balance is terrible. Pay is terrible. If you're not working on a game that is going to be financially successful or decent, which is pretty common in Poland, then you're not really going to have much of a future. And I think you get promoted to positions too soon in a lot of companies in Poland because they don't have enough people of a certain skill level to promote. So on your resume, you might think that having a high position looks good, even if you only have 3 years of experience, but actually it just makes you look worse. Okay, this is the background? Where's the bar image? Yeah, that's the one that we want. You could leave and tell the companies you were on top to get that job? No. No, because if you go to another company, if I were to go like right now to a AAA company in the US and say that I've worked as a lead game designer, they would laugh in my face. Maybe not directly in my face, but they would laugh because the standards for positions in Poland is so much lower because of that drought in some areas, especially game designers, that you just get promoted even if you don't deserve. I didn't ask for my promotion. I got promoted because there was nobody else qualified for the job. And I was not qualified either. I mean, I learned a lot. It was a good challenge, but I would rather have eased into it rather than being kind of forced into it because we didn't have anybody else. You manage like that to save enough money to go now and prototype with your own project? I don't have a lot of money. That's just what it comes down to. I'm very willing and accepting that this will probably bankrupt me. And if it happens, it happens. I'll get another job. So this is the one. This is the fish that moves up and down. That's pretty easy. That's just the value change, and we can grab that value at any time, so that's going to be easy to do. The one that will be a little bit more challenging is this one. Mainly because how do we translate this into... we just base it off of pixel size? Really awkward. 16. Guess we could. Like, it looks kind of weird, but it's because there's white space. If we got rid of the white space, we could accurately determine this based off of pixel size. Ignore it looking weird right now. Although that is a problem. How it can move higher. We could deal with that based on padding. It's awkward though. No pain, no gain, right? Here's the thing, I'll say it. Your inspiration, I appreciate it. I don't know if I am, but I really appreciate the support you guys give me every day with this. I really do. At what point do you go, yes, this is the game I'm making? You just have to have confidence. You have a great AI game idea, but technology is not there yet. I don't even know if the market is there for AI. And we're not going to do any AI in our game. I want a game made by humans for humans. I don't know why increasing the size of the bar is screwing up the size of... Sounds really weird. It probably could just be the overlay or something, or the scale box. It might be. It's so awkward. Yeah, you're right. You know what? I should just make the fish and whatever image that we use for the box the exact same size. Like, we don't need progression in a prototype. That changes the size too, even using an image. It's so awkward. Will be in the future, I don't know. I think that I'm hopeful that players will reject AI trading their art. It might be a fad at some point, you know, for maybe a good like half a decade to a decade, but who knows? If we get more games written like Dragon Age Veilguard, maybe people will be more accepting. It'd be a mix. I don't know. Is it a child? It is a child of an overlay box. Let me wrap this with a canvas panel real quick. I get the full experience. I mean, I can do negative padding. Negative padding is really my only option here. It doesn't look awkward. So stupid. It looks so dumb. Like AI, just algorithms in disguise, right? Never really be able to create something new and only be able to reproduce and mix up. So at one point there will be everything mixed up by AI, and as long as no new input feeds, there will be no new content. Yeah, there's no inspiration there, right? There's no true, and even if you make a game that is arguably just a mashup of other games, there's still the inspiration that had it and a designer hopefully behind it that knew exactly where to prod in the right points. I've tested, you know, like AI, ChatGPT with game design. It is at best a junior game designer. At best. In terms of like thinking. Where's the thickness here? $70 fishy can be. We need to make it as thick as we would want it, and then just offset with negative padding until it reaches the top and bottom of the allotted size box. As awkward as it is. Oops. Dude, one too many zeros. Does Micro hate AI? No, I just don't. I think that it is good at some things and bad at other things. I think people see it as like a new religion, techno religion, and it's like, okay, well, it does do some things okay, and other things it is not great at. And one of the things it's not great at is having an original thought, because it was never designed to have an original thought. It's really good as a large language model, and if you use it as such, you know, those applications are great. And I think large language models and generative AI are two separate things. One of those is way more ethically questionable than another. Okay, fish moves up, down. Fox moves up, down. The issue is that we need it to limit at about 88, and then what would it be, 12%? We can force that without a problem in the blueprint. You know, we can just what's the word? Clamp it to 12, between 12% and 88%. So that's not an issue. They stopped resisting and went with the flow, they could get rich again. I don't think that's true necessarily. Yeah, this will work. Even from this right here, we can determine, okay, is the 0.6, 0.55. Is it 0.12 above or below? If so, it's still within the bounds. Yeah, that's easy enough to do. Clamp between 0.12 and 0.88. Determine if value of slider is within 0.12 units of fish slider. And that'll be good enough. It's kind of a hacky way to handle it, but it will work. If this is our dedicated size on screen, which I think this is probably a bit big. But it will be functional. I mean, here's the thing, is that generative AI is only as good as the visionaries that it was trained on, in which case it will always be a step behind the visionaries, which are the true artists. Even if you train it on your own model, it will not ever produce better than what you've put into it. Like, it's not good. I can go on Kickstarter right now, I can find AI art easily. More filters. Live projects. Bitcoin boomers battle hordes of old people for BTC. What a world. Where's the obvious AI art? Always somewhere. Possible, hard to see. There's one. Last Chaos 2. Better than the first one. An epic MMORPG reborn. Welcome to Last Chaos 2, where we're bringing the magic of classic MMORPG experiences to life for $1,607. Explore vast, diverse worlds, each filled with mighty bosses, immersive storylines, and endless adventures. Think World of Warcraft, but reimagined for today's players. So the players that are still playing World of Warcraft with cutting-edge graphics and gameplay enhancements. Wow. Crazy. What a game. Truly unforgettable experience. You know what? I'm not going to remember it tomorrow. Here's the thing, Pistelli's not wrong. At one point, AI might be that good. The question is, will the consumers reject it or accept it? Now, I think that they might accept it in the case where it is better than what is being created by developers. One could argue that you could probably generate better AI stories than Dragon Age Veilguard did. However, with good writers, you could have much better stories than AI could ever create. $1,000 for a whole game that pays for a year subscription to 3DS Max. Oof. Cutting edge graphics, but that then has a stretch goal for better graphics because it's even more cutting edge. Bastion, you've never even seen the edge as much as that guy has seen it. Okay, I want to throw this widget on screen and just do a quick test of it. Use Kickstarters use a lot of flashy language that instantly turns me off. Yeah, especially instead of just showing gameplay. I'm not gonna save any of the work today, so I just want to get this in and just have them both moving up and down, and we can, you know, print a string if it's within the range, and I think that'll at least give me some confidence that it can be done in the way that I envision it, so that well, actually, we're almost 2 hours in today. Yeah, but I you know, I should play it smart and just think about how I want to throw this in. I prototyped too quick. Fish bobber, I'll just make it F for now. We shouldn't need any modifiers. Shouldn't. Smooths input over multiple frames. Smooth delta. Which I do want to smooth the input. Smooth normalized delta of the current and last input value. Try it without it first. What was the last game you published? Last game I worked on was Forever Skies, but it was only a minor little bit. I don't want to take credit for any of that. We'll throw it down here. Fish bobber ongoing. Get all widgets. Keep it simple. I'm gonna delete all the work after today, so. That's the bobber slider. S bobber. S fish. Very No Man's Sky style. It's more of a it's a survival crafter, but you're on this one, you're on Earth after a disaster. Get. Yeah, we'll do this way. Trying to think in my head here. The way the fish is rotated looks like it's... Yeah, I rotated it the wrong way. Whatever. What'd you make in the game? I worked on one of the holiday events, actually, because I was still getting integrated into the team, but I had to leave the company early due to some family problems that I needed to focus on full time. It was unfortunate, but there was no issue. It was just like, well, I have to do this. And they're like, well, we need the work. So if you're able to get back in time, we can, throw you back in. But if not, we're going to have to hire somebody else. And it's like, do what you need to do. I want you guys to be successful. So do what you need to do. It was unfortunate. I still meet up with all of them at conferences and such, and we hang out. Very good people. This will do it 0.01 every, ideally 60. Times a second. I'm going to try this. Just for the prototype. What's better, working with the other devs you talk about? It's not usually good practice to talk bad about the developers that I've worked at. Then again, I also don't believe in hiding experiences with companies. I think primarily the source of my problems with the company came from the fact that we just had very different values. That my values as a game developer did not align with the company's values of making games. And that doesn't mean that I was right and they were wrong. We were just different. I can't put timelines in. I could set a timer by function, or set timer by function name. I'll try it. Hey Detective, how you doing, man? We're wholesome and they would work just for the money. The right way to make to run a business is to make enough money that you and your employees can remain stable. And every single game development company is at its core a business. That is its primary concern, and it should be its primary concern. However, I personally don't believe that has to come at a cost of the game's quality. I don't think that they necessarily agreed with that. What the fish thing you do in fish is fish in zone, click button. Click a button to move the slider up and it will move down. So we're just kind of like start by recreating Stardew and then start to alternate from there because we know that works. Alternate from there. Let's see, I mean, I wish if I had $1 billion, I would just make games and I'd make them as high quality as I could within a reasonable time frame. But I don't. be... I have an awkward boolean, but I think that that experience working there just taught me that company culture and the people that you hire is ridiculously important. That if you have company goals and you have a certain, you know, direction that you want to move in, you need to hire people that are aligned with that direction. Otherwise, it is an inevitability that you will face those problems. And I kind of knew they were coming. I think that my boss knew that it was coming too. I wish that it didn't end in such a nasty way. I ended up getting ridiculed and laughed at and told that I was disloyal. Wasn't the greatest feeling. But it is what it is. Oh, bean click, that's what I call it. What flavor Pepsi is this? This is Pepsi Pineapple. 0. I think it does that make a super fancy game, but it doesn't sell well like the game's scoring. I think they're trying something, you know, it's... Sometimes you think the market is there, sometimes it isn't. Sometimes it just didn't reach the right people, it wasn't released at the right time. You know, you could be releasing it like in the middle of November here when you have Dragon Age Veilguard and Stalker 2 coming out and Monster Hunter Wilds, which is just... It's the reason PoE got delayed, probably. They had the money and they're like, we're not releasing this game in the same time period as all these other RPGs. It's suicide for our game. There's a lot of factors that can go into why a game is successful or failure commercially. Kind of game easily marketed to a mass audience? No, it isn't. The reason Assassin's Creed comes out so they have a good lie why it didn't perform. You're not necessarily wrong. Is this actually gonna work? Why is this so high up? Doing nothing. .5, that'll do it 12 times, so it should be moving 12% every second. From what I can see. loud. I like that you can fish right after spawn. I'm just testing it. Oh, you guys. It is moving. The input's not working. The function is working. The player's input is not. Why is it not? Ongoing is not getting triggered. Press and hold trigger is what we need. Would we need hold and release or just hold? Why are you so loud? Not working either. Getting turned off after a while. Weird. Oh, I know why. Hold on, I know why. I know why. This should be subtracting. Ignore it. You didn't see it. What bug? There's no bug. It's not project. Yeah, I could change it. I don't want to change it though. There we go. My breakpoint is still there, isn't it? Yeah, let me move that. I don't like that's turning off after a few seconds of holding it down though. It's kind of weird. I could use elapsed seconds of it being held down to F-interp. I'm not going to worry about that right now though. Oh, there's a threshold. Where's the threshold handled? Hold time threshold. How long does the input have to be held to cause trigger? Actuation. Point at which this trigger fires. Oh, I bet that would be for non-binary inputs. That'd be for like a joystick or something. Global time dilation. The owning player controls actor time dilation. See if this works. Very slow, but it's working. But I can change that. little bit of a blue gap, but fine for proto. Up it down to 0.2, 0.02. Looks like I can drag and drop the whole scene. Yeah, it's just you just export to a mesh and you just pull the mesh in. FBX, OBJ, for sure those files are supported. That's all a mesh is. Then you just apply the materials you want to it. Okay, this is such an interesting conversation you guys are having. Really funny to read. It's a legitimate conversation, but it's so funny. Okay, this is working. So now what I want to do is what I'm going to do is this on tick. Can you do like a threshold with a float? So like in range? I think there is an in range float. Value fish. Let's say bobber. Value. No. The value of fish. Is in range of S bobber. Plus 0.12 minus 0.12 minimum maximum inclusive yes. And that should print hello if the gray is within the easy game. Pastel, if you have any sort of OBJ or FBX, any mesh file, like let's say this spoon OBJ, you just import it in directly, boom, throw it into your scene. This is a really small mesh, so I'll just bump it up by 100. And like there it is in your game. Apart from it looking weird. There we go. I mean, you guys can correct me where, you know, things are needed, but there's your mesh. Here's it simulating physics. Boink. And if we wanted to give it a material, let's just give it a brown. There, brown material, spoon, simulates physics. So, you know, it's really easy to get your stuff into the game. Import your file with the textures already in it from Blender? Yes. Yes, you can specify to import materials with it if you want. It will apply properly to an extent, yes. You might still have to remake your materials in Unreal, but making your own custom materials, depending on what it is really easy. Like, let's say it's, I don't know, like a metal box or something, right? So making a simple metallic, like, there you go. There's your nice shiny metal. Not the greatest material, but certainly a lot easier than it needs to be, right? A little bit more roughness. Adding textures for each material is annoying. Well, I mean, that's what you gotta do, right? How do you do a noise? Oh. I was wondering how you can like make some fake roughness multiplier. You need the world position in this case? Oh no, I see it. Oh. Crazy. Oh, that's okay. Yeah, don't do that. Leave it. I'm not an artist, I don't know what I'm doing. And custom scripts to make things faster in Unreal UI. Yeah, but like it depends on what you are wanting to do. Certain jobs do it on mass scale to all objects in its settings. Well, that's what like a class is. If you want to do something certain to all objects, then you just make a class of object, and then you just change the parent. Like my ingredients here, my ingredients are all deriving from a single class. So if I want something new for these, I can just change the parent. Okay, I need this fish to move on its own. I'll just put it in the first person character for now. Again, all my work today is going to be deleted because I just want to get it in and test it. Yeah, I gotta get your hands dirty, yeah. Just gotta jump in. Unreal is a beast, though. It will take you a lot to get a good hang of it. 100k in profit a year? For Unreal? Unreal's a bit different turning cog. I'm sorry, the profit is you don't pay anything for the first $1 million you make for a game. And then after $1 million for that specific game, you have to pay the 5% fee or something. Yeah, 5%. If you're not going to make over $1 million, you don't need to worry about fees and whatnot. Links are allowed. I don't block links. Yeah, I'm just going to connect this up to tick for the time being. That'll tick every time, though. No, I need this to play once. It's taken me 2 years of fucking it up to feel comfortable with most engine features. Dude, I've been playing with Unreal for 10 years, and sometimes I load up like some new editor they add, and it's like, oh my god. 100k is for the Fab license. Yeah, the new license for the Fab is kind of annoying. Thankfully, all the stuff you own before, I think that you... No, most of the stuff you own before, I think you get as like a free professional license. But yeah, I'm not a fan of the new license stuff. Timeline. It's gonna be way too fast, but should work. Some particle system made me feel stupid because it works so different to the rest of the engine features. Yeah, I feel the same way. And then, you know, next update, they're going to release something new that completely ruins your understanding of something. We all know it. You had to randomly choose a point. Fish. Value. I could just do that to start with, make it a bit easier on my brain. New fish location. Wonderful. Great naming. No mistakes. Does the sub play rate change the length of the timeline you made? It changes the play rate of the timeline between... Oh, I think that the lower value... It's a direct multiplier. If I remember correctly, it's either a direct multiplier of it'll play this times as fast, or it's this times the play rate, meaning it is slower. I don't remember which one it is. But if I do 0.33 to 3, that means it'll randomly choose between 3 times as slow or 3 times as fast as the default length, which is 1 second. So it'll be between 0.33 seconds and 3 seconds. I forget which one is which. I remember it being a little obtuse though. We'll just do a lerp. Regular old lerp. Between the... We need to cache the location. Oh, I need to get fish first. Just a reminder, this will all be moved to its own thing tomorrow. Only thing today is just testing to see if it works, and then we can just delete it all and redo it. Check your link. Something made for VR chat. Is it safe for work? Okay, it is. Sorry, with VR chat, can't blame me. Gotta check, right? Pretty cool. Is that all one mesh though? Are there any overlapping UVs? Gotta be a little careful with that with multiple objects. Nice. Yeah, overlapping UVs will not play nicely with Unreal. I think it's with shadows. Like it's a cute blackout. Left polygons, then made me feel bad for using my subdivision. Yeah, you don't need. Polygons are overrated. Polygon is overrated. Yeah, throw it in Unreal. Make this in Unreal. That would be a good first test. You get to get familiar with the engine, right? You could even plug in your trees to the painting, the foliage painting. That's a lot of fun when that happens. This is really awkward to test. But I think it'll work. Except I never actually tell it to run. Classic. We just need to trigger it once. And it should automatically go on its own. It's really silly. It looks really silly, but I think it's working. Oh my god, that's fast. Stop it! There it is. There's your Stardew style fishing in Unreal. Really dirtily. In like an hour and a half or so. Ooh! With dead fish. Hey, at least it's working. At least it's working. And I said that would be the hardest part. Actually, it wasn't that bad. So the good thing is we can do a separate... We can either do a separate timeline based on that, like Stardew does. Thank you for the well done. I thought that would take a lot more work than it did. We could do a separate timeline that is your catch rate, and that can go down slowly too. So that'll be something that we can tackle tomorrow. That was not that bad. But I'm gonna put all of this into its own like fishing spot blueprint, as opposed to doing any of it in the player blueprint like this. So it was a waste of space and not the right place to put it. Good thing is now I know that we need the hold and release with a hold time threshold of 0.01. And we can utilize this tomorrow. The second thing I wanted to test was the actual spot here. and the spawning randomly of like fish. I can try to make that. Oh yeah, I could reuse this. It's an old blueprint. Should delete it anyway. Bill instant volume? What do you mean? Do like a spot like this. Make a new collider box. Fish spawn box. Get point. There should be a get point within box, and we can get the extent. Get box extent. Random point in bounding box. Spawns the volume, giving the player the ability to fish in that area so they are not fishing on land. Yes, yes, for at least for the MVP version, it will be designated fishing spots with a static bounding box for fish spawns. I think that that's going to be a lot easier than going the full vertical slice level of you can fish anywhere, but now we have to have animation, detect where you're fishing, and blah blah blah. I'm doing the mental math of how much work that would be in my head, and I'm like, to test if fishing is fun. Too much work. Get world location. Returns a random point within the specified bounding box using the first vector as an origin and the second as the box extents. But it's the half size, so I would need the box extent divided by 2, right? Maybe I'm wrong on that. Can we use an array of volumes to determine what kind of fish are where? What I could do is, I could just use like a data table and say this is the row of the fish, or I could use like an enum to determine what kind of water it is. I don't know, there's a few ways I can do it, but yeah, I could absolutely specify what kind of fish could be fished up in the current location. In a game called Second Life. Man, what does this say if I'm looking at the title of Second Life and I'm thinking, you don't need to say a game called Second Life, everybody knows Second Life. But that's obviously not true. Boxes are in the weeds and reeds spawn different fish. Yes, I could absolutely do that. And I do want to do that. Although I think I was going to make... I'm going to make that as the second iteration. Not every. I think if you're over a certain age, though. It's really cool. It's crazy that Second Life is still going on. Yeah, I like it. If you did that in both Unity and Second Life, it'd be fine and Unreal. Agree. Like just drag and drop your meshes into the content browser. Load them into a level. You'll be fine. And it will be easier because you'll have there's a lot of just default things that work in Unreal. Especially with its lighting and rendering. I'm gonna put this above the water for the time being. That is the interactable collision, so when you're in that, you can fish. The fish spawn box I'm going to make visible in game. That way we can see it. Now the only thing that we need to be careful of is that none of the extents are colliding with they're vacuuming right outside my door right now. Ignore it. Yeah, we'll try that. On interact, let's spawn actor from class. Let's do it this way. New actor, BP, cube test. Add a cube, make it tiny. Is that a good test fish size? Yeah, that'll work. Location, rotation scale, ignore, spawn. Go see what it looks like. Yeah, indie dev would hire me. I think an artist, a 3D artist would be a lot better to say yes or no than me. I think that you have more than a lot of people have, but there are a lot of factors that go into whether or not somebody will hire you. Working on small mod stuff is only one aspect. You know, you also might need to be proficient at putting it into the... Let me fix that. I'll fix that too. Give me 1 second. There's also just the slightly awkward elephant in the room that people are not really hiring juniors right now at a very high rate. I hate to say. Fiverr, though, is a very good recommendation. Here, maybe I don't need to divide by 2. Interesting. Yeah, I actually don't think I need to divide by 2. That's a little awkwardly named, but it says half size, but really just get the box extent and you're okay. Good to know. Have a workaholic problem? Yeah, don't do that. There's very few things in your career that are worth overworking yourself for, especially in a creative job. If you're an artist, if you're a designer, you need to be well rested and in a good mental state. Yeah, and fuck school, or, you know, wherever you learn, just learn. Learn and get better. Okay, those will be our fish. I promise you, new cloud system. Most hiring people in the industry, if they're actually good at hiring, they won't look at your education section, and it's just a waste of space on your resume. Unless that education is so importantly relevant to what you're applying for in game dev that you should be showing it. Like if you're a producer and you have a business degree, yeah, that can help a little bit, right? So, but for an artist, no, your portfolio is your CV. Where have you worked? What have you worked on? And include mods, include your work in Second Life and in VR chat. Absolutely include that. If you made models, you did work. But Fluid Flux fucks up the fishing. Thankfully, Fluid Flux will not have anything to do with our fishing. At least with the MVP version. Know how to sell yourself and your skills? Yeah, if you're good at that, you don't have a problem. That, and you have to get over this massive hump of being a junior in the industry, where your challenge is going to be, your challenge in getting a job is like this. And this is the toughest part, is getting past the junior phase. Once you get through there, you have a little bit of easier time, and then once you get past that as a senior, yeah, you know, it's still tough, you still have to compete, but you're competing with like 5,000, well, okay, that's a bit much. Let's say 1,000 people here, 200 people here, 50 people here. And even that's on the highest high AAA studio, everybody wants to work here thing. Usually it's gonna be like, I don't know, 125. Well, you don't want to go to school? You don't need to go to school. I am a high school dropout. It was boring and it sucked. And I didn't like it. So, fuck it. I'm not gonna go anymore. That's my life. No college, no high school. Well, I got up to senior. Let me try something real quick. A It'll be the XYZ of the bounding box. No, I don't think this will be a problem. I don't think that we're gonna have a problem implementing this. Designated fishing spot is easy. We have interactables. We just simply remove input context and add input context for fishing. That's not an issue. Fish spawns, we just tested. That works fine. Over time, based on UDS hours, spawn fish up to a certain amount. In fact, I could even try that right now. Do I have a bind? Can I bind an event to that? Bind event to get actor of class. Ultra dynamic sky. Bind event to hourly. Add fish, or let's do a custom event. Add fish. What? Delegate is not compatible with delegate by ref. Oh, okay, yeah. That's right. Because it has the output. So I was like, huh? Delegate not compatible with delegate? I'll boost up the day-night cycle. And then every in-game hour it should add a fish. Yeah. Loud as fuck though, Jesus Christ. Make a shout out to Minecraft for what? What did I do? Believe in yourself, an idea you can make it, yeah. Yep, just give it a try, you just gotta jump in. You'll fail a lot, but that's just part of it. One 10,000th chance to hook spoon. They run the robot. Yeah, I was thinking that would be fun to have like those treasures that you can get. We have our fishing system. I'm actually surprised. I was thinking today we would just have a design and maybe we could test to see if some things work. I'm gonna be honest. Had I gone into this day properly, I probably could have made the entire fishing MVP today in one day. Just kind of stupid, but catch bitch spoon in the Dave Chappelle voice. I love it. Yeah, I could have done this today, but you know what, we'll do tomorrow. And now that I know kind of more of what we want to do and where we need to put it. UI minigame is started. Only this will be a little bit of a challenge, but I'm thinking when you interact, it just throws it out, and it just needs to be simple. We're just going to move one of the fish towards the bobber, and when it gets within a certain range, X amount of seconds, pull the bobber down. And if the player clicks at the right time, they can start it, or we can just respawn, force respawn a new fish or something. Spoon gives you a hook that you can use for fishing, but it's a spoon, so your catch chance is 0. These are so stupid, but good ideas. Yeah, you want to see it run through robot? I kind of very quickly made Stardew style fishing. Oh wait, up one more thing. With dead fish icon. Ooh! Oh, he's going easy on me. Ooh, not so much. Yeah, it's not bad. It's jigging rhythm. Reel for a bit, let us sync, reel for a bit, repeat. Yeah, we could change the rhythm pretty easily for the fish because it's just random right now. But we could do separate either. I could do a data table with like fish difficult. I mean, that's a later on second iteration, right? So like different fish difficulties. Oop. Fish difficulties. That could definitely be done later. But this is good. I like it. I think it'll work well. You know, it's familiar, and to some extent your game should be a bit familiar. That people don't go into it, like Dragon Age Veilguard, where the button to jump is F. Let that sink in. I hate when the ground capture doesn't get that right. Button for jump is F, but how will you pay respect? I kind of get why they did it. I just don't know why. I don't know why they did. I get the decision to do it. I think it was a dumb decision to do it. And it was because they have a dodging system where pressing space is dodge. The reality is that the game was made for controllers. Yeah, it's weird. It just if you play it, play with a controller. That's all I can say. The game was meant for controllers. Just like Inquisition was. Batman uses space for sprint. I'm so mad. Yeah. It's a weird decision, isn't it? I'm out of... I don't know what to feel today. Do I spend the rest of the stream actually implementing the fishing for real? Do we just save it for tomorrow? And for the rest of the day today, we can kind of ease back into development and do some Tim Kaine reactions. You want to implement? I don't think I'd be able to finish it today, and I don't like doing that. Write it out. Well, here's the thing. I have a call that I have to do, so I have to leave it a little earlier today. I have a business call, so I don't know if I'd be able to get very far. Can we use fish and potion? Yes. I wouldn't be able to add any fish yet. Start now. We can finish tomorrow. Okay. Everything is in the absolute worst place then. You say finish tomorrow. Wait, last week, get shit done, you'll feel good after that. Well, I do feel good. I don't like stopping things mid work. And tomorrow I feel pretty confident that, especially because I won't have a call to do, that I could just grind this whole thing out tomorrow. All of it. Chat's pretty evenly split. One hour for one video. I do have to go earlier today because of a call. Otherwise, I would sit down and I probably could do it. Put a poll. Is it worth it? And the thing is, I kind of fucked up implementation and it's all over the place. And I'd rather just do it from scratch. I mean, we'll have the full time. Don't get me wrong. We will have the full like 7 hours tomorrow that we could sit and we could do this. But because I placed everything into my developer folder, my icon is backwards. This widget needs to be redesigned and put somewhere else. You want the dead fish? I could finish tomorrow. Like I'm just gonna like delete everything from today and just redo it. But this is positive. I like that we have the plan now. Yeah, today the goal was to have this, and I thought it would take us a bit longer. And we've also prototyped the UI element, which I thought would be a lot harder than it was. This is no issue. This is no issue. No issue. No issue. No issue. This is the only question mark. I will do some Tim Kaine today. It's only because I have to leave early today. But it's an important call with a composer. So don't worry, no decisions are gonna be made about the music today. I just need to re-quote, talk about it, say specifics about what I'm looking for, and I'm not ditching you. I have to go around like I don't know, like 3 p.m. So don't worry. We're redoing all of it tomorrow. Not the least of which because I'm still on the adding in a lore bookshelf branch, and I need to fix that. Game needs music better than what he has. Yeah, it needs at least one song. I'm thinking of adding in one main theme song that I can use in like trailers. But main theme song is not only one of the most important ones, it is also probably going to be the most expensive one. Whereas some ambience tracks would probably be cheaper and more ideal for the gameplay we have, although it's less necessary because we already have placeholder ones. So I'm torn between, do I need it, or do I need it but just not right now? I don't know. I got to think about it, but at least I want to just update him on what I'm looking at and see what the prices are compared to what we talked about like a year ago. Oop, don't do that. Either way, I will end the recording for YouTube there, and then we'll jump over and do some Tim Kaine before I have to leave early. But I appreciate you guys being understanding, and I'm sorry, Bless 3D. Don't worry. Tomorrow we're gonna grind out the entirety of the fishing minigame. And the MVP version, at least, I think we'll have within the first 5 hours of tomorrow's stream. Our price is just for, I don't know. From friends with your stream. No, but I get it. Like, you're right. I was playing a lot, but I don't know. I thought this would take me longer. It took me like no time at all. Seems like an important talk. Yeah. So we'll see. And then maybe we can work on some of the second iteration stuff, like the bait selection. The book with fish and preferred bait would be cool. Treasure with the minigames so you could fish up potions and junk and ingredients. Different fish based on location should be actually quite easy. Fish difficulty should be pretty easy. Trapping is kind of separate. We need the bait selection menu and that book with fish and preferred bait if we're going to do the bait selection menu for trapping. So this is blocked by these two. And these two are also quite a bit of work. What is Tim Kaine? You will see. You finished the Girl Boss adventure game? Yes, I did. And it was disappointing, to say the least. So I'm going to end the YouTube recording there, and then we'll jump over and do some Tim Kaine. So stick around if you want to see some of that.